Hey there. Ever feel like you're drowning in self-help advice, but still kind of wondering, okay, but what's really going on inside my head?
Yeah, like you're trying to figure out this amazing, but sometimes baffling, machine without the user manual.
Exactly. Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're trying to hand you a part of that manual. We take complex works and, pull out the really useful bits.
And today, that manual comes courtesy of Carl Jung. We're diving into his 1933 collection, Modern Man in Search of a Soul.
C.G. Jung lived 1875 to 1961, a Swiss thinker who wasn't afraid to get into the weeds of being human.
Right. And this book, it's a collection of essays and lectures, some given live, some published first in German. It tackles why we feel the way we do, especially in, well, the modern world, which feels surprisingly relevant still.
Totally. It's not some dry academic thing. He's asking questions like, why are my dreams so weird? What are these gut feelings? How do we find meaning when everything's so noisy?
So our mission today, pull out 4 key insights from Jung's work here that you can actually think about, maybe even use in your own life.
Think of it like chatting with a friend who just happened to read this fascinating, kind of deep book, ready to jump in.
Let's do it. First up, the big one, the unconscious mind.
Ah, yes, the mysterious inner world.
Jung's idea was that our conscious mind, the part we're aware of day to day, is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I've heard that analogy, so most of it's underwater.
Exactly. Underneath, there's this vast unconscious realm. And it's not just like forgotten stuff or things we repress, though that's part of it. Jung believed it holds our personal history, buried emotions, but also deeper, almost universal patterns, things shared by all humans.
Wow. Okay. So our conscious self is like the neat, tidy living room.
Yeah.
And the unconscious is the huge, messy basement and attic combined, full of old memories, weird heirlooms, maybe some monsters, maybe some treasure.
That's a great way to put it. And Jung thought exploring that basement, those hidden corners, was crucial. One key way he did that, dream analysis. He wrote an essay on it. Dream analysis in its practical application.
Right, dreams. Mine are usually completely bizarre. Like last night I dreamt my cat was giving me financial advice. Seriously.
Huh. Well, Jung wouldn't just dismiss that as random brain noise. He saw dreams as symbolic messages. Your unconscious trying to tell you something, maybe about imbalance, maybe offering a different perspective.
So the financial advice cat means something. Okay, decoding that sounds fun. And maybe a little daunting, like learning a new, very weird language.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
But the point is, the unconscious isn't just a dumping ground for negativity. Jung saw it as a source of creativity, too. Intuition, those flashes of insight you get.
Oh, like when you just know something.
That could be it. Signals bubbling up from below the surface. It's a source of potential, not just problems.
Interesting. Okay, so that's the deep hidden world within. What about how we operate on the surface? That brings us to psychological types, right?
Precisely. This is another huge contribution from Jung, outlined in his essay, A Psychological Theory of Types. It's a framework for understanding different personality preferences.
Not boxes, though. More like flavors.
Exactly. Preferences, not rigid labels. The most famous axis is introversion versus extroversion. It's about where you primarily draw your energy from.
Okay, so extroverts get energy from being around people, the outer world.
Generally, yes. Social interaction, external activity tends to energize them.
And introverts, they recharge more through quiet, alone time, like me hiding after a party.
That's the classic idea, yes.
Yeah,
They direct their energy more inwards, finding solitude restorative.
I definitely feel that. My social battery needs a serious recharging sometimes. You see it all the time, don't you? The life of the party versus the quiet observer.
Absolutely. Then Jung added 4 functions, ways we perceive and judge information. There's thinking and feeling, which are ways of making decisions.
Thinking is logic, analysis, the head.
Right. Objective reasoning. Feeling, in Jung's sense, is about evaluating based on values, subjective experience, what feels right or wrong. More the heart, you could say.
Got it. Head versus heart, kinda.
In a simplified way, yes. And then there are the ways we take in information, sensation and intuition.
Sensation is? Like the 5 senses. What's real? What's here now?
Exactly. Tangible reality, concrete details. Intuition, on the other hand, is more about perceiving possibilities, patterns, the bigger picture, hunches, gut feelings.
So the practical down-to-earth person might lean towards sensation, while the dreamer, the big ideas person, might be more intuitive.
That's the kind of difference it points to. Someone strong in thinking might analyze pros and cons, while someone strong in feeling considers the impact on people.
It's kind of fun recognizing these styles, like, oh, that's why my friend always focuses on the facts, and that's why my other friend just has a vibe about things.
Right. And Jung stressed, we all use all of these. We just tend to prefer or rely on some more than others. Understanding this, well, it helps with self-awareness.
Knowing why you tick a certain way.
Yeah, it definitely helps with relationships. Appreciating that someone else's way of processing the world is just different, not wrong.
Leads to maybe a bit more patience.
Hopefully. It fosters understanding, at least.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got the inner world, our preferred styles. What about the journey through life? Jung talked about stages, didn't he?
He did indeed. In his essay, The Stages of Life, he saw life not just as biological aging, but as a series of psychological phases, each with its own tasks and potential for growth.
So it's not just kid, teenager, adult, old person. There's psychological stuff happening each step.
Exactly. Childhood involves developing a basic ego, learning the ropes. Adolescence is famously about forging identity, separating from parents, figuring out your place.
Often awkwardly. Very awkwardly. Cue the questionable music tastes and dramatic pronouncements.
Ah, yes. Then adulthood brings challenges of career, relationships, responsibility. And later life, Jung suggested, isn't just decline. It's a time for reflection, integration, finding deeper meaning, perhaps dealing with the legacy you leave.
So each stage has its own kind of work to do, psychologically speaking.
That's the idea. Each period offers unique opportunities for what Jung called individuation.
Individuation. What's that exactly?
It's a really key Jungian concept. It's essentially the lifelong process of becoming your most whole, authentic self, integrating all those parts, conscious, unconscious, the different functions, into a more unified whole.
So you're never really done growing?
Not psychologically, no. There's always potential for further development right up to the end. It's a continuous journey.
Okay, that's kind of hopeful, actually. And it brings us nicely to the last big insight we wanted to touch on. The spiritual problem of modern man. That sounds pretty heavy.
It is a significant theme for Jung, and also the title of an essay in the book. But we need to be careful with the word spiritual here.
Right. He wasn't necessarily pushing religion in the traditional sense.
Not necessarily dogma or specific doctrines, no. His concern was broader. He saw modern society becoming so focused on rationality, science, materialism.
The external stuff.
Yeah.
Success, money, technology.
Exactly. And he worried that this focus led to neglecting the inner life, the dimension of human experience that deals with meaning, purpose, a sense of connection to something, well, larger than just our individual egos.
And he thought this neglect was causing problems.
Big problems. Feelings of emptiness, alienation, anxiety, what he sometimes called a kind of neurosis. Like people were starving spiritually, even if they had everything materially.
That feeling of, is this it? Even when things look good on the outside, that constant searching for something more.
Precisely that. That persistent dissatisfaction. Jung saw it as a sign of this neglected spiritual dimension, a hunger for meaning that wasn't being fed by modern values alone.
So spiritual here is more about finding personal meaning, a sense of purpose, connection.
Yes. Connection to your own deeper self, to others, to nature, to guiding values, maybe even to the transcendent, however one understands that. It's about finding what makes life feel significant for you.
Which seems more important than ever now with all the distractions and, the sheer pace of life.
Jung certainly thought so. He felt that cultivating this inner dimension, finding personal meaning, was absolutely crucial for psychological health in the modern age. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Wow. Okay. That definitely gives us something to chew on. Thinking about all this, there's a quote from Jung in the book that really sticks out.
Which one?
He says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate."
That's powerful, isn't it? It sums up so much what we've discussed, the importance of that inner exploration.
Yeah, bringing those hidden parts into the light so you're not just being driven by them without realizing it.
Exactly. So just to recap our quick dive today, we've touched on the huge influence of the unconscious mind.
That hidden iceberg beneath the surface.
The different psychological type, introversion, extroversion, and those functions.
How we're all wired a bit differently.
The idea of life as unfolding stages of psychological growth.
The ongoing journey of becoming ourselves.
And finally, this crucial need to address our inner spiritual lives, our search for meaning, especially today.
It's quite a lot to take in from one collection of essays.
You uncovered a lot of ground.
So, for everyone listening, as you go back into your day, maybe just notice. Which of these ideas kind of sparks something for you?
Yeah, what resonates? Is it thinking about your dreams? Or maybe recognizing your own type or the types of people around you?
Or perhaps that question of meaning in your own life. There's no right answer,
It's
obviously.
an invitation to be a little curious about your own inner world.
We really hope this deep dive gave you some useful takeaways, a bit of a shortcut into Jung's thinking without, needing to wade through the whole thing right away.
Maybe it's a starting point for your own reflection or exploration.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration. We hope it helps as you navigate the truly fascinating landscape of your own soul.